All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you guys both for joining me. My name is Mark, aka Marky Dow. Here I'm joined with NFT Boomer of LandVault and Aaron of Young&Sick. How's it going, gentlemen?
Thanks for having us, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
thank you.
course.
I'm doing the
Of
whole
course.
Boomer thing, by the way. So it's just go by Boomer. We're
All
gonna drop
right.
the NFT. Let's do it.
All right, a rebranding early in
All
the
right.
game. Rebrand.
Love it. Love it. I actually went through a little rebranding myself a couple months ago, so
Oh
I
yeah, I
get it.
remember that.
I get it. But yeah. So guys, thanks for joining me. We all kind of we know each other from a couple different areas, but the three of us are currently members of a new fledgling DAO, Ready Player DAO, and we've all we've really just kind of vibed and connected on so many different levels and different fronts. So Aaron and we've been chatting about just kind of having these whether you want to call it a podcast, you want to call it an audio movie interview sesh, and as we kind of call it, a future proof, a vibe check. But I just thought it would be a really cool thing for us to just kind of just jam out and kind of just talk about how you guys came to be in terms of this collaboration between LandVault and Young&Sick.
Yeah, there was a lot of begging and pleading for us to say, please, Young&Sick, hang out with us, and a lot of that.
Naturally, yeah, for sure.
I
But
think
yeah,
No,
I was
I
gonna
think
say,
I think it's like it's really the easiest decision ever in our minds. You surround yourself with talented people, and then everyone wins. I think is like kind of just been a motto forever in like the art that we're working on. And I was very grateful. I think a lot of the decisions that Nick and I have made, Nick being my creative partner on Young&Sick, is that like a lot of the decisions that we've kind of come to wrap our head around has been. I just lost my train of thought. Sorry. What was I going to say? I don't know. Boomer, take it away. Give me a second. I got interrupted and lost my thought.
this is why it's a good partnership.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll read his mind and we'll get going with it. I think we're really fortunate that we had met, I think both of you, through Ready Player DAO. And when we were looking at doing our creation game, which is really a decentralized game design, where we have the community kind of vote using Web3 voting to create something inside Sandbox on a LandVault's land that we own, a 3x3 attached to Pong. And we were looking at how do we put together the NFT side of this? We're not artists, we are builders and developers. And, we had been talking a lot with Aaron and Nick on various different things and they're kind of built out in the metaverse and what they're looking at. And it was, again, kind of like some hope and praying that they would say yes, but, contacted and asked if they would be, open to doing the NFT artwork for our creation drop, which turned out amazing. I try to keep the ego in check or the pride in check when people are like, well, I just bought this because the art is dope. I'm like, what about the whole game? Like, what about everything? Okay, I still love
They'll
you
get
all.
it. They'll get it soon.
Eventually.
We're just the shiny sign that gets people in the door, but they'll see.
This is the beautiful stuff that gets in the door. But no, we're just super blessed that we met both of them and excited that they were willing to work with us on the dev side and that they will work with us by creating some really amazing artwork for the 4 NFTs that we ended up creating. And in true spirit and fashion of the decentralized game design, we let Nick have free reign at whatever he wanted to create. And he kept asking for some feedback. I'm like, you're a Ferrari, and I'm not going to tell you to go 20 miles an hour. Like, however you want to create this, let your imagination go. And he absolutely crushed it. And yeah, super fortunate that that's how that part of that relationship started.
No, I think to that, I think the most beautiful thing about this space for us has been that there's people like you that exist that just say, go ahead and run. Nick and I's background came from, a lot of client work. And it was not, I'm not designing for Dove Soap. It's been other musicians and music festivals and just really fun kind of activation stuff. But at the end of the day, client work is still client work. And there's always a bazillion revisions and rounds of feedback. And I remember through it all, Nick and I were just getting so fed up, and it's like, look, like where do we want our business to go in 10 years? Now, keep in mind, this is long before NFTs and we realize this potential, but kind of our number one goal is like, how do we get the hell away from clients and be able just to go? Because I would always start off every client call without Nick on the phone. And I would say, listen, before Nick gets on the phone, I want to like kind of help manage expectations around Nick. Like Nick has been an artist his entire life. If you have a very specific idea that you want, go hire an art school kid to do exactly what you think. But like Nick is the creative director, and Nick will always shine if you just, let Nick be Nick. And if anything, just give him positive, or, constructive feedback when you get it, and excitement when he works hard, and he'll always over deliver. So I think like this kind of relationship has been important to us in such a bigger theme, which is, we're blessed now to all work in a space where creatives have the ability to just do that, be creative and be their own client, so to speak. And I think that that's what's became so natural about our relationship with LandVault is it's like, there's a lot of projects that are promising a lot of things right now that have sold 10,000 avatars that now have thousands of people that are, asking when the next thing is coming. And, I think Boomer could speak more to this because I'm sure a lot of these projects have reached out to him, but I think a lot of people are going to be over promising right now and under delivering. And if there's anything Nick and I have learned from working in the arts for the last 10 years is you're way better doing the opposite. Building a project that grows slowly but steadily over time, and those are the ones that go the distance. So I think, for us meeting Boomer at the time that we did, it's like, oh, incredible. Like the metaverse has been so important. Nick's been yelling at me like, we have to go. And I'm like, I'm with you, but we have to find the right team. And then the right team fell in our laps via, as you say, our fledgling DAO, which has been very exciting.
Yeah, for sure. That, I think we started that, I'd say, I don't even know if it's 90 days in yet, but it's, as a little shameless plug, it's our play to earn gaming DAO. That's just been incredible. It's just stocked with some of the most brilliant minds, whether it's in the blockchain gaming space or even just in the NFT or DAO world. But the beautiful thing, I think that's kind of attracted all of us to one another, has just been the true genuine vibes that we all share. I think we've very quickly learned and realized that we have this 20, 30 plus year vision and outlook in this space. And we all have the same type of, genuinity, the good vibes. And we're all in it to just not extract value, but really, how do we just build everybody? How do we build each other up? And how do we grow in this space and really just kind of build off this blank canvas that we have in front of us? So that's, I think, been the most special thing, is just to, kind of, I guess, be on the sidelines as I'm watching you guys kind of create this magic, whether it's within the DAO or even externally within this respective project. But, it's kind of amazing, but also crazy to see how quickly things have just sprouted up in, maybe 4 to 8 weeks.
Totally. Something that we were talking about a bit yesterday, Mark, that kind of hit me again as you were just, kind of speaking, is that we have this opportunity. It feels like different from the rest of the creative world. Like we have this opportunity, and Nick brings this up all the time, that we have the opportunity to do something that feels like it's the first of something. Nick will argue that while there's a lot of great art that makes him feel things that come out every day, Nick would tell you the best music has already been made, and the film concepts have already been done. But I think what's so exciting about this moment is there's a big part of us that are just creating very practical things, but then there's a lot of nights where we're a couple cocktails in and the whole conversation just leads to like the what if we do this, or imagine if that. And it's like, we're not talking about these pie in the sky ideas. Like we have a base understanding of what this technology can do and where we might be able to go. And now it's just kind of coming up with these ideas that for the first time actually might be, one of a kind early ideas. And I think that's what's so incredible about creatives, because like Boomer and Satsuma are real creatives in their own sense, whether they like to admit it or not. And like, there's a lot of creativity in how you're going to pull devs and solve these problems together. And it's a different side of the brain in the way that we work. But I think that there's so much, symbiotic energy happening right now that's going to like have everyone kind of, win together epically or fail together epically. But like, we're going all in. I think that's really special.
I like the community aspect of everything. And I think a lot of people lose sight of that. At least recently that I've seen, through like Twitter memes and wars. my cat's better than your cat, or whatever it may be, like avatars versus other avatars. That's actually why we ended up doing, one of our ideas was to create Avatar Land in Sandbox. And it's kind of like a Disneyland for degens. And the idea is that we're going to bring in dozens of avatar projects and say, put down your pitchforks and like, just look around and see who's here and who shares the same vision. And maybe you find a new project you never even knew existed, but we can all kind of play and hang in the same zone, and yeah, we're early in whatever else, we hear from the space, but in reality, it's all the same wallets. We're all buying the same stuff, and get along and hang out, vibe. We're going to go so much further. And if it all epically fails, okay, but at least we had fun, as opposed to, bickering back and forth over which cat is better.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
no, absolutely. And I think like I've been thinking about this a lot. I know this is such a new space, but I feel like I'm seeing a lot of like kind of similarities in certain ways to the entertainment and arts industry before, which it's like, you have artists that are developing, you have with that egos that are developing, promoters, agents, builders, like a lot of the same like kind of positions and nuances are still there. And I think that, what we're going to see is like people that are understanding that this is a community and that we're all in it for the long game, and we're better to like play nicely together because, there's enough room for creativity. This is not like two different companies selling the same soap. It's like different projects with different energies. So it's like, why not just support each other? And I do have a feeling that like, the projects that are a bit more hostile that are getting into this nonsense early on, it's like, how many bands have we heard that have been the biggest band in the world that we're all like, wow, this is the most insane thing ever. And we watch the lead singer's ego get out of control. And then no one even cares about the band 3 years later. And it's like, not to like talk smack, but it's just like, that's the point, like we all got to be in this for the long game and play nice, or it's just, not going to make it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I think all kind of chatted about this separately, and it's, this space moves at the speed of lightning. Right. So, and I think everyone almost has the attention span of a goldfish, because it's, there's another 10,000 avatar project that launches almost hourly. And then, in that same vein, it's, you're both probably getting hit up in your DMs and just in messages of, hey, you guys are doing great work. Would love to collab. Would love to just, would love for you guys to do some work with us. But your time is so valuable right now in, in this bull run, in this bull market of, this NFT, explosion. So you have to be selective, right? You have to be just very careful of who you're working with, not just for the sheer fact of, making sure that the people are right, but just for the sake of your time and protecting your time, because, at this point, like there's such a small window of opportunity that you can capture these great moments until this, whether it become, this a tax issue and people realize that, oh, wait a minute, I bought and sold a ton of NFTs over the last year, and there's a huge tax burden that hopefully, Jacob's going to help us all with his, beautiful tax project. But how do you guys look at that? Because I'm sure you guys get hit up, probably on a near, minute by minute basis.
I don't want to ruin Jacob's tax project at all, but I have the solution to the tax NFT thing. You just don't sell your NFTs, and then you have no selling event, and then you don't have to worry about the taxes. Just hold forever. That's
it. Yep. That's one solution. But to go into my point before, I think, everyone has such a small, limited attention span and want to flip and become the next, mega millionaire. So in theory, 100%, because I know I look back at all of my sales and they've all been pretty much regretful.
Oh, you mean I wasn't supposed to sell my gold ape that I minted for 6.1 ETH 5 hours after minting?
Exactly.
I wasn't supposed to sell the board unshaven pizza face 10 hours after minting for 8 ETH. Oh, whoops. Yeah. Yep. If you just don't sell, things work out probably a lot better. Of course, not financial advice. Although I don't know what's in your DMs, because all my DMs are like, buy this project, buy this project. Hey, I'm not a scammer, but I am a scammer. Buy this project. And every once in a while, I get someone that's like giving me some love and wants to actually talk to me for who I am. But I probably get 30 spam messages, and I have no idea how to turn Discord off for those, which is really sad.
I might have a helpful solution. We can chat offline. But yes, I also still get a gazillion of them a day.
Leave every Discord server.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, I'm talking to my friend runs communications for Discord, and I mean, it was just a sheer coincidence. I hadn't seen her in a minute, and she told me that's her new role. And I was just telling her how much Discord's kind of changed the lives of so many people in terms of where we house our communities, blah, blah, blah. But now I just send all my personal gripes to her. I'm like, you guys have got to solve spam, and it's got to be solved soon because we're all losing our collective minds at this point. My brother had a decent idea. He's like, why don't you make it where it's like you don't show names of who's in a server until you're verified, like properly, and that might help at least take out some of the bots. But I don't know. They're gonna have to do Google level because this is getting too much.
They're getting very smart too, where now they're like, hey, real quick, I found this project. I don't know if you have any ETH, but check this out real quick. And it brings you to a spam OpenSea landing page. You connect your wallet, and then within seconds, all your NFTs are gone. So they're getting very
I don't click on any of them. Get a hardware wallet.
Yeah, exactly. But going back before, so like, my question was, you guys have to be selective, right? So you have to be very careful and, be protective of your time. So, do you guys like, how do you do it? How do you, is it just a feel? Is it just, is it the people? Is it the project? Is there any method to the madness?
Yeah, we didn't want to answer your question. We just wanted you to ask it 3 times.
I figured. I'll ask it again. If I need you.
Aaron, he really wants this answer.
Yeah. By the way, I really want this answer.
Yeah. So I don't know. The way I take it is everyone is innocent until proven guilty. So everyone is a potential partner, a potential collab, like potential friend, until we maybe don't vibe. And so I'll talk to anyone for half an hour, get to know someone, see if it's a fit, or DM back and forth, to make sure I kind of understand the project and what they're looking for. A lot of people reach out to me because we're builders. So they're mostly in the camp. And I will say, like, anyone listening, if you're in this camp, it's totally cool. They're saying, hey, like, our community told us we should be in the metaverse. I don't know what that means. But when I look on Twitter, I see you. Can you help us? Can you tell us where to go? Can you tell us what this is? Can you talk about XYZ metaverse and give me the pros and cons? And, I'm happy to chat with anyone and further the progression of it, because LandVault can't be the only developer, like, especially in Sandbox. We can't be. There's going to be 160,000 parcels right now. I think we're one of the largest, if not the largest builder, and we can handle 12 plots per week. For perspective, most people are going to do a plot every 3 weeks, if they're going to be like a solo type person. So more people building is actually a good thing, because that will end up being pretty amazing for the whole space, and be more creative and more games and more fun. But I basically will talk to anyone, and we'll look at their project and try to understand if are they, Twitter bots, and are they Discord bot farming and spamming people. Like, anyone that has ever spammed me in a Discord message, I will never work with them like that. I don't know of anyone that would work with them or would buy their projects. So I don't understand why that even exists still, but I kind of just chat with everyone preliminarily and see where it goes. And it's been fun. I mean, got to know a lot of really cool people. There's some really great projects that are, I still think, hidden, even though they're in plain sight. Alien Boy, Goats, NFT Media Box. Like, these are some really cool projects, some really cool founders that I like working with and talking to, that their floors are really low and they're still really active, and they've done all the right things. There's projects like the Bored Apes that have done amazing, and obviously the Discord is a different thing, but there's a lot of really great projects out there. And if you don't give people the chance, I think you're missing out, because the community is pretty cool. It's like, not to rant on a little bit, but it's like in high school, right? There's like the cool kids in high school. And right now we have just gone to college, and we're all trying to sort out who the cool kid is in college. Who are our friends? Who do we vibe with? And the person that was cool in high school might not be cool in college, might not be fun. Maybe he doesn't have any friends. Who knows? But we're right now, like, in the first month of college, being like, yeah, I don't like you. I don't vibe with you. That's okay. But I really vibe with those people. I'm going to go hang out over there. And we're all still trying to figure out, like, where the communities are being formed. And when you're seeing, Farouk and Beanie and everyone kind of going back and forth, and you got different sides and different people and different things you're kind of connecting or gravitating towards. And I think you just have to give people a chance and kind of hear everyone out, and then decide if it's where you want to spend some time.
I like that. I think that the biggest difference of what I'm experiencing, to your question, Mark, is like, I think, Boomer, I think like you're also like a bit deeper down the rabbit hole than I am, and that like metaverse is like layer 2. A lot of people don't even understand what NFTs are, right? So the people that are calling you, I think, like want to develop in the metaverse, so they already have a base understanding of what an NFT is. I think that my biggest struggle right now is actually still time and how to gauge opportunities, because there's so many opportunities that feel like they could be incredible that I get reached out, but like a lot of my reach outs too have been, I know this guy that understands NFTs. Why don't you talk to Aaron? And it's like through a good friend that's like, hey, I'm thinking about starting a project. Can you help? And I don't know if you're experiencing that at all too, Mark, but I'm getting like very overwhelmed, actually, where it's like, a lot of people I want to help and I want to be informative. And I think that's why I'm so excited and bullish on this podcast and things like this in general, to start trying to help educate the masses on a bigger level than just like a one-on-one phone call. Because I think where my biggest struggle has been, and maybe it's just a struggle of an entrepreneur in a new space, but it's just like a lot of things feel like they could be worthwhile. I take a lot of phone calls, but there's also a lot of calls I take where it's like, sure, maybe I could help, and we go 4 steps down the line, and X big company is actually, there's too many people in the room and they're moving too slow, and it's like, why did I just spend all day on phone calls and I'm just getting to my emails at 5:00 at night? Like, this isn't a way to work. And how much of that was not really fruitful in terms of my time versus what was. But I also entirely agree with everything Boomer's saying too, because I think like when you do start to feel out people that are serious about the space, it is worth having these conversations, because everyone's so new here. And I can't, going back to my point earlier, and I can't stress it enough, like the biggest names, the biggest projects right now, I promise you it'll be a completely different world in 5 years, and some people will still shine out, but to try to axe anyone out right now too early would just be foolish. And there's so much passion right now that it's hard for that not to be contagious.
Really quick before it goes back to you, Mark, definitely a really cool viewpoint, because the people that I'm talking to are the project owners, the founders of all these projects.
Yeah.
So they understand the space really well. They wrote contracts, they got art design, they launched projects, they run Discords. So I'm definitely a layer down from your experience, really like directly to the consumer. Like you're B2C and I'm really B2B. So it is very different. I think that's a really cool perspective to see the other side.
Yeah. Yeah. And Aaron, to your point, I think in this space, because of how quickly everything moves, and, just being pulled in so many different directions, or wanting to really be involved just because of, I share that same passion. I mean, burnout is real, right? Like, I'm just watching friends and people around me that, they want to try to do everything. They want to be involved in as much as they can. And they probably could, but, when you're just starting to get pulled and just sliced so thin, it becomes very challenging to be good at so much, or at least be involved and effective and efficient, in every area. But, I was so adamant about that question before, because to me, as like that, as Boomer would say, and with that analogy, as like the dweeby guy just getting into college, I look at this symbiotic relationship, or I look at this, like this collaboration that you guys have, like it being so unique and special because of this symbiotic relationship, where it's not just a one-sided thing. You have LandVault building for Young&Sick, but then you also have Young&Sick creating and designing all this beautiful work for LandVault. So to me, it's like from the outside looking in, it's like, there's so many, like it's a special, like unique type of a relationship, as opposed to maybe just that one-sided thing. I don't know if you guys have any, have any comments on it.
I mean, absolutely, right. But it's also what makes the space again so fun, is that like if you're not helping lift each other up, then what's the point? And I think that like it's also kind of the defining overall characteristic of the space. I preach this all the time, right? What's so cool is, an early fan like I think about this in bands again, because that's the world I come from. But like bands used to have forum boards where fans used to like be fans together and talk. And then like social media really got in the way of that with algorithms and only showing certain posts, competing over numbers, on and on and on. Right. And I think the biggest issue as I look forward is, we're kind of back to that early fandom where everyone kind of lives in this like forum board mentality. But the biggest difference now is that if people buy NFTs from Nick and then Nick starts to get more popular, then their NFTs are worth more. So it's the first time that like, it's not a fan, it's a community, and the community wins together. So it's like, I know that LandVault is going to win. Like, I understand that they're going to go and it's just going to be metaverse to metaverse to metaverse. So it's like, if I can help them raise money by delivering cool art, that means that LandVault gets to go expand faster. Boomer and I get on the phone. I get all the best alpha on the planet in terms of metaverse. Nick gets top tier metaverse building. Our community is then happy. LandVault's community is happy. Everything goes up in value because now we're spread out further. And it's like, again, like what other business, what other world do we all so mutually win together? And again, that's the kind of the crux of what gets me emotional about this space. Like it's a no-brainer that we would help each other, in my mind.
I see what he's doing. He wants all these custom bricks.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Golden, bright, red and gold and green, and in the Game Maker Fund, we're able to mint stuff. So on Sandbox, there's only a few of us that can do that, and everything that every color that Young&Sick uses is not a default color in Sandbox.
Yeah.
So we're getting a fun color palette together. We're going to create a bunch of custom bricks and build out barflies and a bunch of other things.
I promise you this: when you're walking through Sandbox, you will not miss our build.
No.
It will be the brightest. It will be the brightest, most aggressive looking build in the entirety of Sandbox.
That is a fact.
That is a fact.
We can't wait.
That's amazing.
It's going to be fun.
It's amazing.
We play to each other's strengths, right? Like I can't do a single thing that Nick does. Like it's just not, I can barely understand even what I'm looking at when I look at how just detailed and elaborate his work is. I was looking at one of the NFTs he created for the creation game, and I noticed something. And even though I've seen the picture like 14,000 times, I noticed something different. I was like, whoa, when did that get there? Like clearly the image hasn't changed, Boomer, because it's already minted. But it was just neat to see like how detailed the work really is when you stop and look at it. But and Nick can't go and Aaron can't go and build out in the metaverse, so it works.
No
really
chance.
well.
Yeah,
we can play to each other's strengths, and we do it in a way that it comes from a place of caring and giving and being able to do that. And I think there's more relationships out there that we're all going to have that are going to be really fun. Poor Marky has to hear me talk on the phone for an hour to him about all the cool stuff we're doing and stuff he's doing and how much we need help. And, finding friends like you guys it's made it so much better and so much more worth it to do the space way more fun. That I would be very sad if the whole rug gets pulled on all of us in the whole space. I would be sad, but I think the part of, well, our relationships aren't going to go away. Maybe the easy money, maybe, the nature of what we're doing and how we're doing it might go away, but the relationships won't. And that's the fun part. And it's why I'm actually coming out to New York and go to NFT NYC and meet everyone and not be so anonymous.
Something that you just said, Boomer, that kind of also goes back to something that I remember I was talking about with Mark the other day. Is you said maybe the easy money goes away, right? And Mark, you come from the traditional finance world, and we all know that every market has like its bulls and its bears moments. And something I'm very curious about, and I'm not a bear at all in this current market. I still think we have a lot of room to grow, but surely there will be a moment where some of these blue chips price correct a bit, where the space feels a bit slower in terms of money earned for some time. And I'm actually, I know it obviously makes a lot of people nervous, but like for the builders, for us, I'm actually really curious to see how it goes, because I keep telling this to Nick. I'm like, look, all we're going to do is we do as much as we can right now. And when it goes into any sort of bear slowdown, it's just like, that's when Boomer and I are probably going to be on the phone 18 times a day at that point, because the distractions are gone. And I know, Mark, you know, you and I kind of said that a little bit as well, but it's like, it's almost going to be like the builders are never going to have a bear moment, right? Like, it's going to slow down, and the real ones are going to have to stick around, and we're going to use the quiet time to build and build and build and build and build, because when the next wave comes, it's only going to be bigger than this wave. And then people are going to be rushing and like, how do we get into the metaverse? And then there's going to be those of us that spent the quiet time building, and we're going to be like, well, we're already here. And I think those are going to be the biggest winners in the long term. So I'm curious to that.
Yeah. So I know I think you and I have just kind of chatted about this for a while, and this is my third like full crypto cycle, or at least my third active crypto cycle. So I've had a chance to just watch a lot of these things happen. And my favorite story, and just kind of watching from the sidelines, I'm good friends with Tommy from Delphi Digital, and I've used this a bunch when I just talk to people. You know, I watch them just build and just kind of, you know, get their team in place in like 2016, 2017, and they grinded. They just busted their ass and they just built. So when like that easy money goes away, when all the noise, when all the distractions just kind of dissipate in this crazy bull run, 2018, 2019, when kind of like, you know, people are like, oh, Bitcoin's dead, crypto's dead, NFTs are dead, they just hustled. And it's almost like pulling back a slingshot, right? You pull the slingshot back because it's all cyclical. You know that it's, you know, these things are just it's all gonna come back, you know, 10x, 20x, whatever. And they just compiled and they just built that team. And, you know, to look at them now, to kind of see what they've done. And I know that's exactly where you guys are, because we all have the same vision of, you know, we know that regardless of the bull or bear, we're going to just keep our heads down, and we're going to continue just hustling and busting our ass, and we're going to build. So yeah, to your point, like it's not that I've kind of joked about this with you guys. I certainly don't hope for the bear, and, you know, because, you know, I know our NFT portfolios won't be worth nearly as much, but the distractions are gone, right? So that gives us all a chance to just do what we have to do, and all the noise is gone.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm curious.
With the noise being gone, yeah, we might be all on the phone a lot more going, are we okay?
Yeah.
Are we gonna make it? Did we make it?
No. I think there's just so much excitement. It's hard for me to imagine. Like, I can't, you know, sure, we could have regulation come in, we could have all these things come in, but I think the biggest difference between now and even like the earlier bear markets is like, there's so many people that are so emotionally involved. You know, we talk about this with NFTs versus tokens all the time. It's like, no one's emotionally involved to their stock portfolio. I mean, you're sad and happy as it goes up and down, but it's like, it's not the same as like, hey, my ape is worth a ton, but I'm not selling it. Like, I like the community and I like having it. Like, there's just like different emotional resonance to it. And then, like, quite frankly, like, the space also just now has the money to hire our own lobbyists, you know? So it'll be interesting to see how like regulation and those sort of things play out, because there's a lot of people having a lot of fun, and there's a lot of institutions coming in, and there's, you know, there's all sorts of different motives and needs and wants. And I think that the biggest thing to keep in mind is that, like, when you peel back the art, this space and this technology is so much more powerful than just art. You know, I'm curious to see what happens when NFTs are tied to like a Rolex as a proof that it's an authentic Rolex. I'm curious to see what happens when, you know, just in general, blockchain is used for ticketing, and we have verifiable real tickets that also give secondaries back to an artist. And does that kind of, you know, kick a Live Nation, you know, in the shins in terms of what's possible? Or are they the first people to do it and own it because they own the venues? I don't know. But I guess my point is that I think this tech is much bigger than just art right now. And I think that, you know, I can't ever see it just like going away. I think there's too many applications that are too practical that solve so many of our current problems that, you know, this is going to iterate and change, but, you know, we are going to make it.
I was waiting for it's different this time.
It is. It's always different this time, isn't it?
It is maybe the same result. The piece that I'm a little worried about is that there are a lot of, and I'll say that kind of the boomer way here, but there's a lot of younger people in the market that don't necessarily understand the tax piece, which, you know, I'm excited for Jake's NFT coming out to school everyone in some tax and provide some cool software and stuff. But the piece that makes me nervous isn't necessarily the tax, but this is likely the first bear market they will ever have experienced. And I'm
Yeah.
really hoping that if some of us, and I won't call you guys older, but some of us older people are over here going like, hey, dum-dums, pay attention. Like, this won't be this great forever, and it will go down, but it will also come back, and it will probably come back way stronger because a lot of infrastructure will be built out when
Mhm.
the noise is gone, right? And so if we can get that news out to everyone that, yeah, some are going to panic sell, some are going to flee, some are going to be scarred for life and never touch an NFT again. But if we can kind of alert people and say, hey, markets move in cycles, it's okay. This will go down and this will come back. Um, I think it'll be a lot better for us as an industry as a whole, to really help try to educate everyone that bear markets come, they're going to suck. It's going to
Yeah.
stink. It's going to feel horrible. You're going to want to vomit when you look at, hey, the floor really isn't actually the floor. It's almost like the suggested price, but it's not the real price because you're going to have to sell
Right.
to the floor, which then is going to cause some issues. But uh, I, I'm just more nervous that this is a lot of people's first bear market.
Yeah. No, I think it's
For sure.
fair. I mean, I saw a lot of friends that lost what they thought they had was that they thought they were rich in 2016, 17, and they watched all their savings go away, what they thought was savings, and they never re-entered the market, and they missed this entire NFT moment because they're like, I'm just done with crypto. It's too brutal. And like the big lessons I always took were like, save for the future, save for the bear, skim profit, save for the bear, on and on, I guess. So I am curious as well, and we'll see how people feel through it all.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I think the crypto people, I don't want to say crypto people, but people that were active in 2016, 2017, learned a tough and pretty valuable lesson. So the ones that stayed, got to reap the benefits of that slingshot effect, because it did. It came back stronger. The infrastructure was built. The foundations, the pipes, the roads, the pipes, whatever. And here we are. I mean, Coinbase just announced that they're launching this NFT marketplace in the next couple of months.
Hey,
And I think
that's no big deal, right? 70 million, whatever it is, like counts.
no big deal. No big deal.
At all.
So I mean, it'll be interesting. I'm really excited to just kind of even look back at, in 5 years, to look back at this recording, even, just to listen to this again and be like, wow, like to see where we were, and now to kind of just look and see actually what, where we got to. But so I want to just even maybe kind of just talk about, Boomer, you guys have like live minting happening right now. Can you just talk about this creation game and just give us a little bit of a glimpse in terms of what this actually is?
Yeah, minting is live. And you could be pretty much like everyone else and be like, oh, the art's dope. I don't care about the rest of the whole thing. For Young&Sick art. I was actually happy, Aaron, you'll love this. Someone minted 30 to try to get the chance at getting one of the knights, because I'll explain that in a second, but they're a little more rare. And they didn't, but they were still happy and they held on to them, which is cool. But they literally were minting just for the art. Again, I'll keep my ego in check and try not to cry. But the game itself, the creation game, the name will actually be determined by the group in true fashion of what we're trying to put together, which is at a high level decentralized game design. So we're not going to require anyone to go jump in and lay bricks down and to build it out. We will handle all the coding and bricks and building and dev. But from the design standpoint, we want the whole community to really have input on what we build. Do we want to have the floating islands like Avatar, or do we want to make it a Zen garden? Do we want to, out of the 9 plots, does the community want to say one plot is only for this community and we'll lock it down with a certain wearable or avatar, and the rest of it we try to monetize? There's a lot of different ways that the community can go, and we're here to help kind of facilitate and make sure it gets done. But the idea is you can go mint right now. It's 0.07. You can mint on our site, landvault.io, and you'll get one of 4 of our NFTs: Dawn, Day, Dusk, and Night. The rarity percentages, it's done by rarity percentage, so there is some rarity to this. And what the NFTs represent is not just cool artwork by Young and Sick, but also a number of votes that you would have in the game studio to really direct what happens on that land. So the votes are 4, 8, 50, and 200. And once we have our Web3 voting up, which should be live in the next 2 to 3 weeks, then we'll start loading in questions. We'll have weekly calls. We're going to be doing a live stream every week to show the build as it's happening. And it's not behind the scenes kind of, leaks. This is actually everyone in the community is behind the scenes. They're the ones that are helping facilitate and direct and design the whole project. The project is located in a 3x3, so 9 parcels of land next to Pong in Sandbox. It's directly attached, so there's going to be a ton of eyeballs on it, a ton of traffic. And the coolest part that we got through legal, which was nice, was that if you show up to 75% of the meetings, which we'll have 2 meetings staggered throughout the week at various times to give everyone in all time zones an equal opportunity to get there. If you vote in 75% or more of the voting, which should be really easy. You connect with MetaMask, you click the answers that you want and done. And then if you contribute 2 pieces of material to the project, so it could be some suggestions around lore. It could be some drawings. They don't have to be great, but some drawings of maybe to illustrate a point, just to show that you're actively involved. If you can do those things, you're considered active in the game, and we will call you a creator. And the reason that that is important is because 30% of the net income generated on all 9 parcels together will go to the creators. So there's some work involved, but there's a lot of potential reward involved if the community decides to build something amazing, the whole market agrees and wants to play the games and spend the sand to play whatever the game is, whether it's a tower defense game or it's some type of park your thing or whatever, carnival games, whatever we end up creating on the land, which again is voted by the community as a whole. So you can do it at landvault.io, and it's 0.07 to mint, and hopefully you get a night card because those are pretty cool and pretty rare.
I will do my best to own one of those night cards if it means that I have to go buy one on the secondary.
Everyone isn't listing them because they're mostly core community members for a while. So hopefully some more get minted because in the total mintage there's 90 of them, so it's 1% of the total population. So there's quite a few, and then the Dusk cards, which represent 50 vote, there are 4% of the total cards, so 360 cards of those. But I think all the artwork is awesome. But I know there's some people out there that want to collect one of all 4, so they're trying their luck at the mint, seeing what they get because it's a blind mint.
Yeah, that's amazing because as I know pretty well, just from my past life in the traditional financial world, or as I like to call it, DinoFi. Anytime that dinosaur finance, anytime that you try
I feel like
share,
you've used that joke before.
Possibly, but I don't think recorded yet. So it's the first. So as the SEC likes to call things that you share revenue with an unregistered security. So that's just a really nice way to get around that, right?
Yeah, we're making everyone active and participate in this. So it's not a security. We're really, really cognizant of that. We've spent a lot with legal, a lot of time, a lot of money to make sure that we've done this the right ways, to make sure that we are not anything that represents a security. That is extremely important to us. So this is a way that those that want to be involved, that want to take an active role in this, can participate in the upside on the net revenue because they were active and really contributed to the project.
Yeah, that's amazing. I can't wait to see how this plays out. I will be an active contributor and a member, and I'm stoked to see how you guys build it and how I can help you build it.
Yeah, it's gonna be really, really fun to see. And there's going to be an avatar and some wearables that are going to be included. There's NPCs. So who knows? Maybe the community decides that they need an NPC to sit in front of one of the carnival games, and maybe it's Marky's Punk. Who knows? Maybe it's
Ooh.
Nice.
Ooh, I already got the NPC concept ready to go.
yeah.
Nice.
Like, and that's what we want from the communities, to be able to talk and engage and be able to vote these things out, and to build something really cool that we want every single person involved to walk over and be telling their friends and showing them in Sandbox, like, hey, do you see that? Like, I brought that idea up and it got minted, it got put into the game here. Or
Right.
you see that ugly looking dude over there, that's my avatar, it's an NPC, he's a greeter or whatever. And the community votes all of that. That is zero of LandVault. We're facilitating the voting and helping everyone kind of come together as a community. And I truly do believe, and we're seeing it firsthand, even though we haven't even launched this, just by the amount of people reaching out with different ideas for their own projects. This will change the way that the metaverse is going to be created. It will be more decentralized design. It'll stop being projects that think they know what's best for their community. They're going to start polling their community and being able to show them in real time how things are going to be built, and allow them to really, be vested in the success of the builds, because they help design it. It's a fascinating thing, and I think we're going to see a lot more of it. And we have much grander plans. This is really phase one of this. But I'm really excited to take this and lead the charge. This is the first of something. You don't get to say that very often, like you were mentioning earlier. And we're happy to be spearheading it, and I'm hoping others take notice and do the same thing.
Well, I will say we have definitely taken notice. Even in our Discord, we're trying to launch our Barflies, which is our, it's just going to be 100 one of ones, as like a profile picture sort of situation. Comes with, smartphone size things, computer, watches, and then it's going to come with a lot of voting rights in what we do as well. And I've already kind of taken some of our core community members, said, hey guys, just have a question. Should we do something this way or this way? And that was really inspired off our conversations, Boomer. And what I've noticed is you're more than 1000% right, because what happens is when you ask people's opinions, like you've suddenly just built a team of a community of evangelical supporters, and these people not only feel heard, and not only are they like quite literally a part of creating something incredible, but these people will buy, and will come back and continue to support. And I think that, you couldn't be more right in that. And we've just been personally testing it throughout our community. And I see the appreciation already pouring back in from our core members.
It's amazing what you can do and accomplish when you listen to people and genuinely care what they say.
Yeah. By the way, I think like you're onto something for the future of how brands are going to work. I was just on the phone with this DAO called Jump DAO. It's all these advertising executives. And we were talking a lot about that. They've been thinking a lot about community. And I said, look, there's right now, like the way that brands operate is, one time a year, they'll give to, LGBTQ causes, IA, and they'll do these sort of things that feel, I think to most of us, a bit cringeworthy and disingenuous, not because of the causes they're supporting, but because it just doesn't feel like, it feels like they care because they're told that this is the time they have to care. And I think that we're going to see a huge shift in the way that even brands, start looking at their core consumers and their customers, and stop saying, hey, these aren't just customers, but if they have good ideas, like maybe there's a better way to get feedback in real time and have them be a part of the decision making of where this brand is going, right? And I've been thinking about that a lot lately, but I think you're onto something that's much bigger than just the metaverse and the way that our communities are going to interact. I mean that sincerely.
Yeah, 100%.
We're all gonna benefit from that. I mean, the brands that we know and love. This is not a knock on the Apes at all. I think a lot of stuff that is just truly life changing has come from the Apes. But if the Apes had come out and polled the community and did Web3 voting and said, what do you want to see and how do you want to build? Just even in their piece in Sandbox, it would be much more impactful. People would be less likely to sell their ape. Like if your ape was to vote and you were really contributing in. I mean, do you not think that someone's going to go and take some video and post it on Twitter about how their idea was actually made into the metaverse, and they have a lasting imprint on there because they know that was their idea? They're probably never selling that ape regardless of the price, because they're going to be so excited that they
Yeah.
did something and that the community validated that thought, that people listened to them and showcased their knowledge, their work, their expertise, whatever it may be. So I'm hoping brands pay attention. I'm hoping that they see that this is a way to talk and be able to allow your community to have a megaphone versus only one megaphone talking down to them.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it's going to be really fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, it'll be exciting. You know, this is definitely challenging, the way that brands and companies, you know, just to, you know, everyone's starting to just, you know, basically vote with their dollar, right? So that silent attrition, you know, they might not notice it or maybe recognize it right away. But, you know, I think this world of, you know, this space, right, this NFT world, you know, I think is giving people, you know, a lot of pause, or even just maybe helping them realize that, you know, these things are possible now. And I think you guys are literally pioneers and helping literally just kind of lead the charge in this creative thought. So, you know, with that, you know, I don't know if you guys have any, you know, closing thoughts or comments. I know, you know, you guys have, you know, we're kind of coming up to that hour mark, but it's always a pleasure. I mean, we can literally just, you know, chop it up for hours like we usually do on a, you know, random weeknight. But do you guys have anything, any closing remarks?
I love you both. You're awesome.
Amen.
Yeah, this has been a blast, and it's I think that how the ease of these conversations is a testament to what's so special about this whole thing. You know, these are the most fun conversations I've had in a very long time. So I appreciate you hosting this, Mark.
Of course, it's the pleasure's all mine. I mean, you guys have, you know, just to have only met you guys, I mean, I guess months ago, you know, I'm talking with you and spending more time with you than my family. And my wife, my wife comes in my office at midnight or 1 o'clock. She's like, you know, who are you on the phone with? just Boomer and Aaron.
Yeah, don't mind me.
So yeah, gentlemen, it's always a pleasure. You know, I can't wait to see you guys in New York City, where we can just share some things behind, you know, in real life, have some drinks and just have some good times. But you know, with that, we'll you know, we'll close it out, but we'll talk soon.
Oh yeah. All right. Thanks, Mark. Good to
All right,
talk to you
gents.
as always, Boomer.
Appreciate you.
Have
guys.
a good one, guys. Bye.
Cheers.
See you guys.